In 1943, crews reported seeing other planes blow up in mid-air for no apparent reason. The Luftwaffe had developed a new deadly secret weapon, known rather bizarrely as jazz music, Schrägermusik.
German night fighter pilots realized that the bombers had a blind spot, namely underneath. They were able to come up underneath, and they had a couple of guns that were pointing up at an angle through the cockpit. The bomber they were attacking wouldn't see them, it wouldn't hear them. The first thing they'd know is there'd be cannon shells ripping through the aircraft from beneath. If the thing was below you firing this jazz music cannon, there was no way out.
One of the pilots who used this deadly weapon was Rolf Ebhardt. He flew the Messerschmitt 110, hunting down British bombers. He shot down 8. Tell us about the first time you engaged the Lancaster.
Yeah, I saw it about 120 yards higher. So I was shaking and my heart was throbbing, of course. And I said to me, don't miss, don't miss. So I positioned myself under the Lancaster and not thinking that the Lancaster was on the flight to the target, so it had all the bombs in. Yes. I aimed in the middle of the fuselage, and the thing exploded after a second. And the result was I couldn't see anything anymore. You know, I was so blinded for about 5 minutes, and then slowly the sight came back.
Rolf was so close to his victims that he was able to record their serial numbers in his logbook.
That's it, really. Abschuss Lancaster. Oh, Abschuss Lancaster. I've got the code number from some of them. That was the third Halifax, and here 3 in one night within 15 minutes.
The new upward-firing cannon meant that in 1943, the night fighters were accounting for 70% of Bomber Command losses. One man lived to tell his story of this invisible enemy. Reg Barker's Lancaster was torn apart by Schrägermusik. His plane went into an uncontrollable dive, and Reg began to black out.
I couldn't move my little finger even. I was pinned up against the canopy of the roof canopy of the cockpit. And I could see the fires burning below, the fires that we'd started in Kiel. And it was quite evident that it would only be seconds perhaps before we hit the earth. Then suddenly all was peace, all went quiet. Had I arrived in the place in the heavenly abode to which no doubt the Almighty had intended? I don't know. Suddenly there was a swishing sound, which I realized afterwards was the wind tearing through my clothes. I was out in the sky, I wasn't in the cockpit anymore. How that happened, really it's only a matter of conjecture. And I could see my aircraft coming down beside me, very much ablaze, of course. The parachute opened, and I could see below me the trees of a wood, floodlit by the flaming aircraft. At that moment, I dropped into the treetops. So that was a miraculous escape. Kriegsgefangenen.
Reg spent the rest of the conflict as a prisoner of war.
So these are my identity tags, dog tags as we call them. One was my RAF officer's tag, and the other one is the one issued to me by the Germans when I became a guest of the Nazis. Stalag Luft 1, it says, 5182, that's me.